morning, good afternoon, good evening from whichever location you're watching this video. I hope all of you are safe and healthy. I am back again with part 11 of the AWS Lambda video series. And in this session, I'm going to discuss about AWS Lambda environment variable. So environment variable is one of the feature of AWS Lambda wherein we can define the dynamic values or variables and that we can pass to AWS Lambda function even after it is being published on the AWS console. Okay, so basically let us understand it this way. Like when developing any project or any application, let it be any language. Like if you develop in Python or in .NET or any language, we used to maintain a config file. Okay, and in config file we maintain some keys, important keys and connection string depending upon the various environment. Like in .NET, we used to maintain app setting file. In app setting file, we maintain the database connection strings or some API keys or secrets. Okay, and those keys and connection strings are changing a variant environment to environment. Like on dev environment, there's a different database connection string, and in production environment, there is different database connection string. Okay, so if the same application we are publishing on dev environment, or same application we are publishing on production environment, we can make the changes to the connection string in the app setting file even after the deployment. Okay, so we have the flexibility to modify that. So for the same purpose, in order to meet the same purpose in AWS Lambda, there's the environment variable feature. In an environment variable, we can define this type of configuration values. Okay, based on that, we can make that Lambda function behave differently environment to environment. Okay, so that is the basic purpose of defining and using AWS Lambda environment variable. Okay, so let us understand it this way. Let me jump into the Visual Studio. I'll develop a Lambda function. We'll define some environment variable and we'll see how the function behaves differently depending upon the value we pass within the environment variable. Okay, so I'm in the Visual Studio now. I'm going to develop a new Lambda project. Okay, I give it a name. Let me select empty function template here. Okay, in this function here, it's a basic template. Okay, and let me remove this string input for simplicity, and I'm just returning a simple string here for now. Okay, so in this function, what I'm doing, I'm returning a simple string, like I'm running and don't know which environment. Okay, so when I'll execute this function, it should return me this string. Okay, so let me publish this function. Okay, and clicking next. I'll select the execution role here. Okay, and upload. Okay, so our function have been published. So let me jump into the AWS Lambda console, and yes, so this is a function fn demo part 11. Okay, it's a very simple function. When I'll click test, it should return me this string. I am running and don't know which environment. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll just deploy this function again. And this time what I will do, on this screen, you can see here, there is a section here, environment. Okay, here you can define the environment variables. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm just creating an environment variable, env name. Okay, and I'll give it dev. Okay, and we'll upload it. Okay, now what change we can see here, when you go on the configurations tab and there's the environment variable section here, you can see this variable defined here, like env name is equal to dev. You can edit this value here, like you can edit it like prod. Okay, I'll save it. So the value has been changed, it is prod. Okay, so when we will deploy this function on dev environment, we can make the value as dev, and if we will deploy this on the production environment, we can set this value as production or prod something. Okay, similarly we can create other environment variables also, like db connection string, and you can specify the connection string here. Okay, and you can read this value db connection string in the lambda code here in your function block, and you can connect the database based on this connection string, whatever you will specify here. Okay, so let me remove that as of now. Okay, so my environment name is prod. Okay, now I'll make a small change here. So in this function block, how we will read the value of the variable, that environment name variable that I have defined there. Okay, so I have a code. I'll show you. Just to save our time, I already have written the sample code here. So I'll get this. Okay, and I'll paste it here. Okay, so let us understand this. I have defined a variable env, and this is the method to get the value of environment variable. Get environment variable, and you can specify the environment variable name, right? So what is our environment variable name? Env name here. Check this. Okay, we don't have any connection string as of now, so I'll just remove this part. Okay, and simply I'm checking, like if env is dev, then we'll return this string, or if it is prod, we can say like let me do it like this way. If it is prod, okay, so this is prod, else I'll return the default string. Okay, it's not returning any path. Okay, so what is the error here? env name is equal to dev, then we return this statement. If it is prod, then this statement, else this statement. Let me write this way. Okay, yeah, no problem. Okay, so what is the expectation? Like if the value here is production, then function should return this string. If the environment variable is prod def, then it should return this string, else it will return this string. Okay, so that is the expectation. Okay, so let me deploy this function again. So in this screen, see, we can modify the value also here when publishing. Like if you are deploying on dev, you can write to dev, or if it is a prod, let me write it dev. It's as of now. Okay, so I'm deploying for dev. Okay, so function has been deployed. Let me jump into the console, and here, see, environment variable name is environment variable value is this dev. Okay, when you will test this function, okay, what it is returning? It is I'm running and don't know which environment. Why this? It should. Okay, so this function is ultimately okay. This final string is also being returned. Okay, it is a return statement, basically a default return statement, because it is the function returning this value. Okay, but here in the, yeah, in the context we can see like the function is being invoked and dev environment from the dev environment. Okay, so this block is being executed, but finally it is returning this string also. Okay, so that is the this return statement we can see here, but the context that we have placed conditionally, that is being working. So the function is being invoked in the dev environment. Okay, and I'll go in the environment section again. I'll edit this. Let me send it to code. Save it. Okay, and let me test it again. Okay, so not here. It should give us the other statement in the logger. Login for the function is being invoked in the prod environment. It should be like that itself, but somehow it is. Okay, in the configuration, env name is prod, so I'm testing. So this string, returning this string, that is fine, but in the context it should log. Okay, so that is not logging. Let us see what's happening here, because env is equal to, okay, I made a mistake here. It should be prod. Okay, so they are just spelling mistake. Need to deploy the function again. Okay, so function has been deployed, and let me verify the variable. It's prod again. Just this this value environment name is prod as of now. Now when I'm testing it, it should return the correct statement. return is same, but in the context, the function is being invoked by the prod environment. Okay. So we have seen like based on this environment variable value, okay, different code block is being executed. Okay. So that is the purpose of this environment variable. Okay. So in this section, you can define any environment variable like database connection string or the API secret values. Okay. That also you can modify from the console itself. Okay. So that is the purpose of environment variable. Okay. And you can write the different code block, the conditional code block based on the that should be executed based on the environment to environment or depending upon the value of the variable. Okay, so that is the core understanding of the environment variable. Okay, there is a feature on the function like throttle. You can see this throttle button. Okay, in the previous videos we discussed like we can develop lambda function. Okay, and we can set up the cron job. Okay, also that if any specific code block that we need to execute periodically, like if every 5 minutes or every 1 minute I need to do some activity, do some checks or run some script. Okay, if we have deployed some uh, this kind of a script on lambda and we have set up the cron job that is running periodically, like every 5 minutes or every on schedule time, it's running periodically. Okay, and it is upon environment deployed on dev or production environment. Later on, the function is running on its way as per the schedule. But if we feel that there is some wrong code have been deployed or some mistakes was there, okay, that should be stopped immediately. Okay, in that case, what we can do, because function is already scheduled, we cannot delete the function. Okay, because we need to maintain the function code. So what we can do, we can just throttle the function. Okay, so when we will throttle the click on throttle button and confirm it, it will stop further execution of the function. Okay, so it what it does, it just every lambda function runs against its concurrency limit. Okay, so it makes the concurrency limit to 0. Okay, so that function execution will be automatically stopped. Okay, so we can throttle the function. Okay, so you will get the message function is throttle. Okay, your function cannot be invoked while the reserved concurrency is 0. So basically it changes the reserved concurrency to 0 and the function execution will be stopped automatically. Okay, when after that we can make the correction in the code. Okay, we can improve do the necessary correction in the logic and we can redeploy the function and we can edit the concurrency back and click on use to reserve concurrency and click on save button. Okay, so function the concurrency will be set again on the function and your function execution will start again. So that is the purpose of this throttle button. Okay, so on in case of emergencies, like if there is any function which is running on its way or as per the schedule, and if you want to immediately stop that further execution of the lambda function, in that case we can use the throttle button. Okay, yes, so that was the agenda of this video. We have completed we have covered like what is environment variable, how to use that environment variable. We have seen through a practical and we understand what is the throttle feature of AWS Lambda. Okay, so that's it for now. Thank you very much. Stay connected for further interesting video on AWS Lambda series. Okay, thank you very much for now.